Hello, Gregg for Online Tennis Instruction. Here's a case study from a recent serve clinic. A dropping elbow while serving can become a chronic problem. It will cause you to lose power, be inconsistent, put strain on your shoulder, and doubt in your game. A lot of players do not even know they are dropping it. Here's what a dropping elbow looks like. If you have a dropping elbow, you're probably wondering, what can I do to fix it? In my experience, there are many quick fixes out there but do not have lasting results. I've discovered that correcting the kinetic chain allows the player to be successful with overcoming this problem. Here's what we did with Shane. We will start with a video of his serve taken at the beginning of the clinic.
Now let's take a closer look at Shane's serve, and he gets into this position right here. Now it's good how his elbow is aligned with his left shoulder. But you'll notice as he starts to drive with the legs, his elbow actually gets ahead of his knees and his hips. So before the knees have turned in, the hips and the shoulder, the elbow is starting to lead at this point. So there's a break in the kinetic chain. So ideally, what I like to tell players is thinking of driving the hip up at a 45-degree angle to the right. And what will happen, the knees will turn in, the hips will turn in, the shoulders will turn in. Then the elbow will come around, and as a result of momentum, the racket will actually drop into this position in what we call the racket drop, where the racket is aligned with the right side of the body and pointing all the way down. That will place the front shoulder and chest muscles on stretch.
So this is how we go about fixing a dropping elbow, and in this instance it stemmed from the incorrect use of the kinetic chain. So what we did is we had him start in this position, a half serve position, and he made this right to left move by bending his elbow, and the racket went over his head. When he got to this position, we had him focus on driving his right hip upwards. And I was telling him it's like you're driving it up about 45 degrees to your right. So as you make this move, you drive the hip upwards, and the momentum of that, as the hip goes, then the shoulder will follow, then the elbow. And you'll see how the racket now gets into this position without really making independent arm movement. So now, one danger when you're working on this, it causes some students to want to over-rotate, meaning they face forward too early. So you want to use a solid object like this, and I'm lined up about 45 degrees to my left. So as you make this right to left move and you fire the hip, you then will catch yourself against the post. And what that's going to do, it's going to prevent my left shoulder from opening up too early. Right, I want to be a little bit turned to the net post to my right at contact, right? So I want to be a little bit side on. So this really helps me. And the idea is my hip is driving forward and up, and my left shoulder is almost driving backwards. That's just an idea to help prevent you from facing forward too early. So watch it again. Start like this. I make this right to left move, and then as I get into this position over my head, I drive the hip, and then I use the post here as a brace to prevent me from opening up too early, and I can actually finish up to the contact point right here. So once we got Shane used to the feeling of driving his hip and allowing the hip to initiate the shoulders and the elbow, we started doing a lot of shadow swings, and we had him stand about 3/4 court. The tip of the racket would point to the side fence in a half serve position, and as he made that right to left move, when he got to this position, he would drive the hip, and you'll see how my left shoulder kind of stays in place, and he would drive the hip and get the racket into this position. So he did a lot of shadow swings from here, and then he continued into the full swing. So he would go from here, right to left, and then into the full swing this way. All right, and see it again, once again here, tip the racket to the right, right to left, drive the hip into the full swing. All right, once he was doing well with the shadow swings, then we had him alternate between a shadow swing and hitting the ball. Again in the half serve position, he made that right to left move, drive the hip upwards, and then we had him toss the ball and do it. Just like that. Now one thing you'll notice, he was shifting his head, which can also cause the body to open up too early. So we did tell him to focus on looking at the contact point and kind of holding his gaze there for a long time. So had him start this position, he did a shadow swing, drive the hip up, and then we had him serve one. Just like that.
Now let's look at it again and look at the improvement what Shane was able to make. So on the right hand side, that's the improvement. I'm going to slow it down at this point, and you can see a major difference right here. How he's able to keep his elbow up, and he's more in sync with the kinetic chain.
We now offer one-day OTI serve clinics where an OTI certified instructor helps you transform your serve several times per year in Florida, California, as well as other locations. For more information on upcoming serve clinics, click the link inside this video right now.